So here are our heroes, spending their time here in the tavern.
So do I have my stuff back?
By this point, it's been a whole night, right?
Yeah, this
we
is
have
the
it.
morning, right?
How about we're holding it, ready to give it back to you if you're good.
If I behave
it's under
myself.
guard, yes.
All right.
Yeah, can you guys please sit down? You know, we gotta get this day going, and I got something to talk to you guys about. So, you
Fine.
know, a little closer, guys. I'm not like gonna attack you.
Kia stands on the table.
You might, but Racer might.
Sits right in front of you. All right. What do you got?
Did you go to a chair?
Holy crap!
I'm like looking,
Okay.
awkward.
I'll sit down. I'm sitting.
Fucking elves, man. All right. So, yesterday was not fun for me. I will just say that straight up.
It wasn't fun for you.
Well, yes. Fair enough. We got to make a decision, and I know where I'm leaning towards regarding this beastie and this town's problem. But I don't. Dragon Cal. Can you please go somewhere else too, Kia? What?
Cal does what he wants. Cal does what he wants. Just continue your story here.
Oh my god. Okay. So I see merit in just leaving town, going north, finding the wizard, and carrying on with our mission, right? I'm worried about the ramifications of this area, and the fact that if we don't deal with the beastie, we're not showing Yarn Spinner up, because Yarn Spinner's a dick. We all know this. We want to get revenge. And if we have to return this way along the road, we might be attacked ourselves, right? So we'd have to be very careful and not go at nighttime, and that's just awkward.
Right.
So I'm leaning towards dealing with this monster, and not for the gold, Raisa. I know how you feel about this, and I would not take any cut of the gold if we were to go and you were to help me. It would all be yours, so you'd get a little bit extra. I don't really care about gold, and you also helped me buying this new sexy armor, so I have you to thank for that too. Lastly, and this is where it gets really weird, guys, I take out my journal and I put it on the table between the two, and I say to both of them, I want you to read this, if you want to. I'm no longer going to hide it or keep it to myself.
Uh-oh.
What?
Raisa, you said some really horrible things to me yesterday, things I think about myself anyway. And I hope this journal entry doesn't just offend you, because I have said horrible things about you guys. I don't deny it. But, I think you need to understand where I'm coming from. And what better way than that journal. So, if you want to read it, you're welcome to. If you don't want to read it, I understand. But the offer's there. My suggestion to deal with the beastie's there. But if you guys decide otherwise, I'll follow you. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Alrighty, so there's an open journal laying there on the table for all to see.
I'll say this and then I'll let Raisa speak. Radovan, I have read a few pages of your journal, and that's really ballsy of you to just lay it out there for us. And I'm trying to respect you here, so I'm not going to read it, because but thank you for offering, I guess, but that's your private business. Unless you want me to read it, then I'll read it, but that's your thing. I'll let you have it. I won't read it ever again.
No, I think there's more in there than just the offensive, horrible things I did say that you did read.
Is there?
Well, yes, I'm a dick, but I'm not that much of a dick.
But you're not 100% a dick.
Well, you're not like all peaches and cream yourself, miss. I'm gonna burn a bed and, do horrible things to things.
I never said that, but yeah, you're right.
None of us are perfect. I mean, look at what Raisa did to me yesterday. She was gonna kill me. And, God, Cuthbert forbid if that happens to you, Kia, you'll murder us. We will be obliterated. I like fireplaces and everything, but I don't like being in a fireplace,
Which is why we really need to look out after each other,
Which is what I hope this is a first step to doing that. We're coming together kind of thing.
What do you think, Raisa?
I'm worried about if this happens to Kia.
Yeah.
Because Kia, I don't think we can deal with it. So I think I feel really bad about yesterday, guys. I just want you to know that I didn't want to go after this, and that guy just how do they find themselves justified in telling us that we have to help them?
It's a human thing, Raisa. I mean, humans are, especially straight-talking country hobos like that. Not hobos, hillbillies or whatever. Not hillbillies. Why would I say hillbilly? You know what I mean. It's things country folks say. They get all crazy.
It's true.
He's scared. It's a cover. It's a mask. He's a frightened person who's in charge of a town that's probably going to be incinerated in no time. Going to be desolate and dead. And he's trying to... You should know that
trying to threaten the people who can possibly help you isn't a good tactic.
Well, I mean, that's fair, but also to be fair, we did kind of just say, you don't need to know our qualifications. Well, I said that, so that's my fault. So, he could very well just be kind of like, well, ain't that about a bitch, you know?
You don't need to see our qualifications.
Should it come to a vote here, whether we should help this?
So... Radovan, you just want to head so I know you said you want to head north, but do you want to take on the job, or you just want to head north and we'll do the job if it comes to us, kind of thing?
I think I'm worried about the possibility of us having to return to this region, having not dealt with a situation and being caught with their pants down by that situation. And that's what scares me. Like, what if we have to return to Scarrow or have to go to Saramorn and there's no other better, safer road? You know, we'll have to deal with it, and we'll be out in the open, and I'm worried that it will get us and we'll be surprised and killed. So, of course I feel obligated to help these guys, because no one should live in such terror and fear and be on the verge of, like, dying, essentially. We all know what that feels like to be on the verge of dying. And who knows what we'll find up there.
Right. Well, the right-hand side door, a gentleman wearing purple robes, carrying a staff, has just walked in. He glances around briefly, and then proceeds to make his way over to the bar.
Staff.
Kia.
Alright, I'll go. We'll go.
A glass of ale, please.
I just walk over nonchalantly and sit over here.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, the barman hands him his glass of ale. He takes a long draw of it, wipes his moustache, and says, "So, I understand you have a bit of a problem."
You're
the barman kind
of
looks at it. No, he's ignoring you completely. He's talking
okay,
to you.
I wasn't sure.
Who's in charge of this town? Who might I talk to about your little issue? The barman looks at him and says, I mean, the mayor. I can send for the mayor if you like and have him fetched. Yes, why don't you do that? At that point, he looks at his wife kind of awkwardly and says, why don't you go fetch his lordship? Post haste and tell him he's got a guest, a visitor. All right, then. And off she runs. And he just sits there quietly sipping on his drink at this point in time.
So...
He seems completely oblivious to anybody else in the inn. It's almost like he's ignoring you blatantly.
Dang it.
It's like you're sitting right next to him and he's not even cutting you a glance. He seems to be so non-interested in anybody else in the inn, it's kind of almost rude.
Alright. I can catch that sense, so I scoot in the chair next to him and I clear my throat. Excuse me, sir, with the staff.
Okay, he
May
kind
I
of
speak with you?
Just like looks at you as he takes a sip and puts it back down.
Can we hear him?
He just looks at you and says, "Well, what can I do for you?"
I couldn't help but overhear that you were asking about the problems in this little town. What's your interest here?
Are you the mayor?
I could be.
Yes, well, I don't think you are. And then he just like turns back and continues to drink, like blatantly ignoring you at this point.
Wow. That's too bad, because we're here actually helping the mayor today, but we'll see you later. And I walk back to the table.
Alrighty.
How did it go? What happened?
He is a prick, but I think he's here to try to help the town. Probably
You guys,
for his own
anybody
gain.
that doesn't immediately pander to you instantly get labeled assholes or pricks.
It's true though.
Well,
God,
generally,
heaven
if somebody
forbid.
says hello and wants to talk to you, you aren't rude like that. So
Well, it
he's
really
a dick.
depends on. I mean, you gotta. How often does a complete stranger walk up to you and start asking your business in real life? And
Before
if
cell
they-
phones were invented or after?
Well, either or. I mean, it's one of those things. So,
I could just see a cell phone in this world. Yarn spinner, you're a dick, and hanging up.
drunken Radovan prank calling yarn spinner. I can
Drunk,
see it now.
drunk tiling, the
Yeah, there you go.
nipster, house jail. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. All right. I tell him everything that just went down.
Right. Yeah,
Say
also,
th-
you got to remember, this is not the most pleasant of places. I mean, lots of bad things happen, so strange people are usually looked upon with some level of, distrust until otherwise proven.
Is he a magic person,
Dickie DeWar, thanks for the follow.
Kia? Can you tell? Or is he just a weirdo with the staff? Like,
Well, he has purple robes and a staff. I assume him to be, but I could be wrong. I don't want to waste a spell right now because I don't know what the day's going to hold.
He could be a
So-
robed person that needs aid in walking.
Yes, exactly.
yeah, is
But-
he? Oh, sorry.
It's just my gut instinct right now. I can't tell you if he is or not. So, I think we should go ahead and vote whether we're gonna stay here or not, or else we gotta get going.
We can invite him over, and
He's not very friendly.
I say we wait for the mayor to come in and listen to what our prick friend has to say.
Yeah, I think so too.
prick with a stick. All right. Did you get your
Prick
ale?
with a stick.
I mean,
Oh, I left it there.
well, you can't leave booze to just like
Okay,
evaporate.
holy.
Come on, that's like a sin against all
Going back
things
to get
boozy.
it.
Right.
Awkward.
Okay. As you walk back over, he's finished drinking, and then he kind of looks at the innkeeper and he says, you seem like a fairly candid fellow. What do you know about this beastie? This problem you have?
Sit down.
He says, well, not a lot, really. I know that it swoops down under the dead of night, and it's stolen nearly all of our cows. It did so last night. Stole 2 or 3 of them. We got 1 left. Took most of the pigs. I don't know for a fact, but I heard them talking about the fact that it had been robbing and attacking the trade caravans, and that's why no one comes here. In fact, I'm down to 4 bottles of wine, 2 bottles of grain whiskey, and 1 barrel of ale. That's all I got left. This is interesting. Winged beasties, indeed. This is, and I assume your mayor has more information than this. Oh, well, quite, I'm sure. In fact, he was talking to, and he kind of nods at Kieliana. And them other 2 over at the table. Okay, at this point, he kind of looks at you and he squints slightly.
I look at him and smile and wave.
Okay.
I may be of some interest to you, sir.
He says, really? He said, and what? He said, so, you're here in regards to the beastie, then?
I am.
Ah, okay.
In fact, I might be the one to slay it. We'll see.
Really? What do you know about it?
Absolutely. I know a lot, but who am I to trust you with that information? Why don't you join us at our table down south?
Well, until the mayor arrives, I may as well indulge you.
All right. My name is Kieliana.
Oh, very nice to meet you.
I'm gonna take my book and awkwardly put it back into my backpack as they're walking over. You know,
Okay.
my journal. Yeah, because
All right, well, he basically stands up and then stands waiting for you to lead him to the table.
All right. As we're walking, I say, "May I ask what your name is, sir?"
You can, yes.
Snarky. That's good to know.
He says, I've recently been having a little bit of a problem with strangers that I've met, so I tend to guard my guard my personality and who I am a little bit more closely these days.
It's alright, we understand that. This
Not
is rather
that I don't trust you, of course. It's just I don't trust
Alright.
anybody at the moment.
We have a hard time trusting people as well, but we'll tell you our names.
You gonna introduce me, or am I
Hey, this
introducing
is
myself?
Radovan Rainier.
Okay,
and this
he
is
just
Raisa.
smiles at you politely.
And I say, guys, this is Mr. Mysterious.
Is that your first name or last name, sir?
He says,
I'm sorry.
It'll count as either. Whatever suits you.
Okay. I'll call you M.
Ooh, yeah.
Mr. M.
Call
Cool.
me Mr. E.
Mr. E.
Mr.
Oh my God.
F. Yes.
No, he says, so you're here in regards to this unpleasant creature, then?
Am I still the one speaking? Yes. We were contacted back in another town, and we came here yesterday.
Okay. So you were here then last night when the alleged recent attack. Did you see it?
Oh, it was very interesting. I did not see it. It only attacks in the dead of night when it's pitch black and the moon is behind the clouds. Perfect cover-up.
Did you hear it?
Did we? Well, yeah, we heard a noise that woke us, all three of us up, I believe.
And what did it sound like?
What did it sound like?
Like a scared child?
I'm sorry, I was trying to be more menacing. It was loud. It
That
sounded
didn't
like
come
a baby.
across as
I
menacing. It
honestly
sounded
don't
like
remember.
some kid. It sounded like a baby. That's all I heard.
I don't know. Guys, do you remember what it sounded like? Ow.
Gotta love you
Holy
guys.
crap.
He says, well, was it more of a roar, a hiss, some kind of high-pitched screech?
I couldn't tell you. I just remember waking up to a noise. And then it took...
Do you know anything about it?
It's-
Any of its traits? What color it is?
flies.
How big it is?
It's large. I'm guessing it must be a dark color because we can't see it. Could be a shadow, could be invisible, who knows.
Interesting indeed.
Yes, sir.
Very interesting.
Do you have any ideas here or suggestions?
Not with such vague information, no.
Well, the mayor doesn't offer much more insight than that.
Very well. Well, he's coming here to meet with me, so I probably ought to move to a private table to have a discussion with him.
So you're some, I imagine you're a magic wielder.
I wouldn't go. Well, of sorts, I suppose, yes.
Ghost comes with the rod and the, robe.
You know, it's a dress
Well-
code.
Are you alone here? Because if you're going to be dealing and tangoing with this beast, you could
could
probably
maybe-
use some
Oh, no,
help.
I didn't say I was here to kill this beast. I'm here for information about it. Until I have such
Control it?
information, I really don't know why I'm here, to be honest. I was just, let's just say, curious. Well,
Alright.
you see...
Can I do a sense motive on him?
By all means.
Do it.
A 14. He's very difficult to read. I mean, obviously he's playing his cards very close to his chest. He's obviously extremely suspicious, both acting and in the way he views everybody. What his game is right now, you can't really tell.
Cool.
Okay,
Okay.
he says, well, I think at least a simple introduction should be in order. My name is Zamil.
Zamil. Nice to meet you.
He says, that might be the case. Or maybe not.
Well-
it depends.
After you meet with the mayor, if you feel like there's anything we can do for you, perhaps we can meet up afterwards and discuss.
One question. So, did the mayor hire you to kill this creature? Is that why you're here?
We're not sure yet.
Oh. So you have or have not yet met the mayor yourselves?
We have met the mayor. We just have not decided yet, which is why we're sitting around this table.
Ah, so he's offered you the job, but you haven't decided if you want to take it.
Perhaps.
Price not enough, or more intimidated by the possibilities of what it might be? Or other motives, maybe. I don't know.
There are several factors that counter into this that would be a much longer discussion for what we have time for, unfortunately.
No, quite. You've shared plenty. I'm going to go over here and sit by the fireplace and wait for the mayor.
All right, Mr. Zamil.
Zamil, Mr. Yeah.
Mr. E.
He walks over and sits here. A strange thing happens. He kind of looks at Cal and lowers his hand. Cal walks over, puts himself underneath the guy's hand and allows him to stroke Cal briefly. Then he gets back up and goes and sits in this corner by himself.
I just want to say that guy was putting me to sleep.
Cal jumps up here and sits on this bench all by himself.
Can I say to Cal, why did you let that man pet you? Was there a reason?
Cal says, he seemed nice.
That's good to know. Thank you, Cal.
All that in Cal speak, of course. Blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah.
I'm gonna kind of. What was that?
Okay, the door opens and in walks the mayor and his friend Loman. They glance around. He kind of looks at you and just his eyes just hold his gaze, like holds your gaze for like just a second or two. Then he stomps over towards the guy in the corner after the mayor's wife kind of points at him and says, "That's the fellow over there." He says, "Fair enough. Bring me a pint. One for Loman. Well, as usual, milk." Well, there's a problem. We don't have any milk, I'm afraid. We're out. There's only one cow left, remember? Fine. Loman, what do you want? He just kind of squints, looks at him, and then he says, "Water?" And Loman just kind of politely nods. He says, "Fair enough. Water, then." Right. Now, first of all, the mayor, he doesn't lower his voice. He doesn't attempt to talk quietly.
Okay.
So the whole conversation is very, very audible for you guys. "So you're here asking questions about our problem. Well, I'll cut to the chase. There's some strange winged creature that keeps coming in, butchering all our livestock. It's massacred several trade caravans. No one will come here. We can't get anything in or out. And quite honestly, we're offering a quite handsome reward to have it dealt with. I offered 1,000 gold crowns to that lot over the table, but they don't seem that interested. Are you?" "No." "Well, what do you know about it, is what I'd like to ask." "Well, it flies, it's big, comes in under the cover of darkness. The only thing we know is, well, one of the local lads who did see it, he's mute now, won't speak after it did, scared him silent. But he said it had some kind of strange long black tail with like a big scorpion-type stinger on the end of it." "Interesting," he says. He says, "I'd ask them to, when they kill it, bring me the tail so that I know for a fact that that's what it was they killed. Don't want to pay someone 1,000 gold and have them go off and bring back some remnants of who knows what, and it wasn't the beast. I pay them, they hijack it out of here, and a day or two later, here it comes again. Sounds to me like the tail would be a pretty good identification that they killed what it was that was causing us the problem." "Oh, of course. Well, I need to do a little bit of research. I may or may not be able to assist you in this problem. Are you going to be around this afternoon?" "Well, I ain't going nowhere. Ain't nowhere to go." "Well, then perhaps I'll call on you at your residence this..." Nope, no one comes to the house. I'll meet you here, say, right after lunch. a little later. Fair enough. Mid-afternoon, then. That'll be fine. All right. He swigs down his ale, looks at Loman, says, "Come on, Loman, we're leaving." Gets up, turns around, and heads straight towards the door. Do you guys wish to interject, or are you just going to watch him walk out?
No, I'm going to interject.
Okay.
Before I get up, though, I'm going to turn to Race and I'm just going to say, maybe you should follow our new robed friend. See where he goes, what he does. And then I get up and I immediately say, "Excuse me, Mayor."
Yes?
I hope you're aware of this, but I am a priest of St. Cuthbert. And I couldn't help but overhear you talk about Loman, is it? The guy who can't talk anymore, like scared.
No. He said,
silent?
"This is Loman." I was referring to Wolfspor's boy.
Okay, would you mind if I met him? I am well versed in healing arts and magics. Maybe I can bring back his voice, you know?
That's up to you. That ain't something I have to really... it's any concern of mine. He said, but if it's something you want to do, he said, "I suggest you talk to his father."
Could you show me where he is?
He says, "From what I understand, you already met him last night."
Oh.
Derek Wolfsport.
Yeah.
You went to his house, and then that friend of yours went all crazy and started doing strange things, and he slammed the door on you. Quite intimidated and scared of you like he is. Don't know what happened there, don't need to know.
That was something out of my friend's control. I insulted her favorite gown, you know, and she just lost it. So
well, that's a bit temperamental, I must admit.
Well, you know, I've been, you know, giving her a lot of grief about certain things. So it was my fault. I kind of deserved it.
Well, I can tell you, you might want to tell that to him. He thought it looked rather sinister, to be honest.
I definitely will. Now that I know where he is, I will not be in your way anymore. I'm sorry to get. Yeah, I just stepped back awkwardly.
Well, Derek Wolfspor's boy's name's Dominic.
Are you serious? Another Dominic?
That's his name.
Okay, thank you. It's like everyone named Dominic in this.
No, everyone's named Roderick.
Roderick, Dominic, same thing. So similar. All right. Yeah, okay.
Well, we'll be back here this afternoon. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you, sir.
And him and Loman leave.
Sorry for that, Risa.
What was that all about?
I thought maybe I could help get more information from the boy who can't talk. Unfortunately, I didn't pray to Cuthbert for a particular ability that would be very useful. But, you know, maybe a heal check and, you know, make something happen. You know.
That's true.
Yeah. Or we can also decide, you know.
Okay.
What we're gonna do, I guess.
Well, do you want me to tail Zamil?
Do you think it's worth it?
I do.
I don't think he's particularly interested in being secretive. If we're here for the meeting, I'm sure we could overhear what him and the mayor discuss.
Okay. Have we decided if we're doing this thing?
Well, I don't think I want to stay in this town.
Well, the beast is in the mountains, right? So we wouldn't be staying here. We'd be going over there. Maybe there's something cool in the mountains you might like. I don't know.
Okay, the robed fellow has got up and he's standing about 6 or 7 feet away from you. He says, may I have a word?
Mr. E, yes, come sit. I don't know his name.
Would you care for refreshment? Should I order us around?
Do you really want
Okay, sure.
Okay. He kind of glances back over his left shoulder. A round of drinks, whatever they were drinking before, barman. I'll have another one of those ales, I suppose. Okay, fair enough. Right, they bring over and put glasses in front of you. He says, so, I'm interested in this. It has a scorpid tail. Did you know that?
I recall them saying they thought it was a scorpion tail, but didn't seem like they were too certain.
Oh, quite. Well, they haven't actually seen it, except for the ramblings of a now mute boy. Although it is a strange thing for someone to use, if you're going to describe a nasty winged creature, and that's the one thing that you can remember specific, seems to me that it's quite possible. Otherwise, why wouldn't he have just said big winged creature?
It's true.
Focused on that, focused on that specific, which seems curious to me. If it is what I think it is, I have great interest in that tail. The one that, 1 second.
Sneeze
Sorry.
check.
The one that, his lordship seems to think you need to bring him back as proof that you've killed the
Can I sense motive again?
If you wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. No different.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
I don't actually know. Not 100%. But...
Well, what do you suspect it is? Yes.
Well, I don't really suspect it anything in particular. But if it has a very large scorpid tail... You see, I am somewhat of a collector of strange things. I collect natural anomalies. And the tail of something so large that was scorpid would indicate that it would be of some kind of, I don't know, venom or whatever. I'm willing to get involved in this. Angel's Insight, thanks for the follow. In this little deal. He said he offered you 1,000 gold crowns, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
I'll give you another 500 if after you have brought the tail here, shown it to himself, and that he is happy that you have slain the beast, I'll pay you an additional 500 gold to buy the tail from you.
Interesting.
A flying... You know, hey, Kia, Cal has a poison tail, right? And flies too.
Slap ya. I'm not gonna slap you.
No, not for collector's purposes, but for deduction, right? So...
What do you mean?
Maybe what we're fighting is a kind of dragon or something, right?
It could be. I don't know.
Well, that's... unless it gets on the ground, I'm not going to be very useful.
Yeah, I do suspect Cal will have some help in this adventure. But I'm wondering, is there anything else that you could offer besides gold? I just would like to see what our options are here.
I don't know. Information. It's difficult to know what sort of things that you might be interested in, really.
Do you possess any knowledge in evocational magic?
I do.
Do you do evocational magic?
At times.
Then we may have something that could be better than 500 gold.
What do you want?
I look to Radovan and Raisa to see if they want me to... I'm getting a nod.
Do it.
Alright. We have... I'm not gonna do it. We have a certain marking, the three of us, that has some very powerful magic on it that we are trying to erase. It has several types of magic, and we've gotten a few of them removed, but it seems like the evocational magic on it has increased, and we're trying to see if we can find someone who might be able to remove it.
He says, interesting. Are you showing in the mark?
Not yet.
Okay. He says,
Oh.
if it's something I can or can do, I mean, I don't know. I would certainly be willing to look at it and help you if I can, yes.
Kia's like a little nervous about showing the mark because of what happened last time, so she looks to the other two to see if they'll show off theirs instead.
You're kind of in this your own. Yeah.
Jeez, guys. All right.
Okay, so you show him the mark.
Yes.
That was what I just had up on cam
Okay.
if you guys didn't see it. Okay, he kind
What
of
do you
raises
think?
an eyebrow at it. He says, huh, interesting. You don't want this mark, I assume.
Absolutely not.
What have you tried so far to remove it?
Oh crap. We've had 2 wizards work on it. I'm not exactly sure. I think they got rid of some necromancy.
Oh.
Is that right?
Yeah, they removed a lot of the magic from it, but it also expedited the other magic within it. So
Oh.
it has adverse effects to us, and the adverse effects are getting more potent and more difficult to, snap out of.
Have you tried cutting it off?
The thing
I mean,
is, it
you have a
seems to
priest of
heal
Saint
back
Cuthbert
over.
right here. Oh, it does. So you have tried it.
We haven't tried necessarily cutting it off, but
But we've hurt
Well, I would.
ourselves.
If you don't
We've
want
hurt
it.
ourselves, and it's just come back.
Oh, then probably not. Have you tried to decapitate your arm?
I really don't want to
It's
do
like
that.
asking these
so
questions like so matter of fact, like it's just obvious.
I kind of like my arm, and I would like to keep it.
Oh,
yeah,
well.
I mean, if I didn't have my arm, what would I hold my shield and drink in?
So just curious, what has happened since you had this mark? And he seems very interested all of a sudden. He's like,
Ooh.
I mean, what does it do? What's the problem with it? Why don't you want it? You seem very, very eager to get rid of it. Obviously, very much so. If you'd rather trade the possibility of diminishing it than 500 gold crowns, it must be a great burden to you.
I don't think we're there yet, sir. I mean, I know next to nothing about you. Divulging this information.
I understand. But we can assume it's a very... Obviously, the magics are of a negative nature then.
Very much so.
Yes. Very curious.
And no, you cannot have my arm, if you're wondering.
Oh, no. I wouldn't mind sketching it, though, if that would be okay.
What would you do with the sketch? Just like
Research
store it somewhere? You can research it for us?
Possibly. I know a lot of interesting people, you see.
Any of a more negative or dark disposition?
I tend to operate between... I like to think of myself as a very logistical person. I don't really pander to good, evil. I don't believe in either. I believe in opportunity and knowledge.
Someone did this to us. So if we were to give you a sketch of this image and you shopped it around for research purposes and revealed it to the people who did this to us, I don't think that would go over too well for you or us.
I wouldn't do something so Neanderthalish and so amateurish as that. But what I would do is take a sketch, possibly use my talents to discern what type of magic is on it, and then use some of my literary belongings to do some research. You see, I have heard of something similar to this in the past. It may or may not be related.
Interesting.
Raisa, Kia, look, you knew where I was leaning before we met, Mr. Roby Roberson over here. So,
Mr.
guys make
Zamil will suffice.
I'm really bad with names. It's the booze. Raisa, Kia, it's up to you. You know where I stand. I think, this connects what I already wanted to do and to begin with to what we are trying to do in the long run, Raisa. So I leave it to you. But if we are to do this, I would rather leave sooner rather than later.
Yes.
Because I don't want to be walking the roads at the nighttime, out in the open, as it were.
And you can see I kind of want to talk to the two of them, but not with our friend right in front of us.
Right. He intuitively seems to pick up on that, and he says, "But I'm sure you have much to discuss. So, let me take my leave. I do need to go and make myself comfortable in a room if I'm going to be staying here for a while, waiting on your return, of course. And are you going to find this creature, or waiting for it to come and try to apprehend it here in town?"
I think it's better to ambush rather than to be ambushed ourselves.
Yes, quite. So you're traveling to where? Do you know where it is? Have they given you any indication where it comes from?
Out east somewhere, I reckon.
I reckon.
I
Okay.
reckon.
So we could be here for a while. Fine. I'll go and procure myself a room, and you can have a discussion all by yourselves.
We kind of took the last of the rooms, sir.
Oh well,
all three
that's
of us.
rather awkward.
Take my room. I'll room with my friend here.
Thank you. Alrighty, he gets up, he goes over without missing a beat, says to the innkeeper, could you please fetch that young lady's belongings out of her room and bring them to her? I'm going to be acquiring that for the foreseeable future. He says, alright. Basically goes and fetches your stuff and brings it to you and plops any of your belongings down in the chair next to you. He heads off up the stairs and goes to your room.
So pretty much as soon as he's out of earshot, I'm going to lean in, and I'm whispering even though he's not around. I think he can help us.
I think so too, Marisa. It seems viable.
I think this is the way to go, so we got to do it. Oh,
I'm glad we finally agree on something.
yeah. And
Let's get drunk.
Woo! Well, we probably can't leave today to head to the mountains, so we should probably spend the day stocking up on anything we may need and getting ready for a intense journey. What do you guys think about... Never mind.
I think we could leave today.
What? What is it?
Well, I was going to say getting horses and actually riding, but there are no horses.
We can get Bill. Well, I don't want to leave Bill here for another night. I mean, you
No,
might get
Bill can come with.
Radovan, can you ride that bear that you summoned? That'd be sweet.
Well, if you remember, actually, because you're going into the mountains, if you are going to do it, his lordship said that he would have Givens take you to the edge of the road in the mountains, and then you would have to hoof it back.
Right.
I don't remember that.
I do now that you say it.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
On the grounds that you probably don't want to try to take a horse and cart up into the mountains, and you probably wouldn't want to leave it on the road
Right.
all by itself. So he was just
Look,
trying to be.
Bill's
you know.
become kind of an icon,
What-
so let's
what
not
time-
let him
yeah.
die.
What time is it in
Okay,
right
thanks for the
now?
follow.
Like, we came down in the morning,
Yeah,
so
it's
now...
it's still it's it's still barely. I mean, it's probably 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Still pretty early.
Yeah, so that we can go. We can make it by nightfall.
Well, we have to tell the
Well, you've
mayor
got
we're
to
going.
tell the mayor
and make a deal
and sign
with-
yourselves up and do all that yet. So
All right,
And
well,
if
let's
we do this, I want it in writing.
That's
I
what
want
we
a
do.
contract with the mayor and a contract with our new friend Zamil.
All right, Kia, get contract from Mr. Roby Man, and
Okay.
we'll
I'll
go
get
to the mayor.
supplies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, we don't
What
need
little
water.
ones I can.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
We can do that.
all right. So where do you want to go? Zamil has come down. Has actually already come down. He's come down the stairs.
Alright, that just as the other two are leaving.
Okay, and then Radovan and Racer, you guys are leaving to do what?
I'm gonna try and get some rations from the tiny town that's probably pretty depleted.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to the mayor.
All
So,
right. Okie dokie. So I'll move you two out. Okay, Kia. So what do you want to say to Zamil?
Zamil, we have agreed upon this to retrieve this tale for you. If you could try to figure out anything about our mark and perhaps try to remove some of the magic. And I'll let you have a sketch of the mark as well.
Oh, that
What do you
seems
say?
absolutely fair.
Alright. Would it be alright if we get you to sign a small paper document just so we have
Sure.
it
Do you
written
have
down?
a document?
Well, if you let me sit down for a second, I'll draw one up.
Does Kia have paper and quill and stuff?
I have no idea.
I don't think she does.
I don't think I do. Freaking Risa, do you have anything?
I don't think any of you do, to be honest.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Why my journal?
Joke was wild. Thanks
Where's
for
the
the
journal?
Oh, what's outside with me?
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
Hey, Booby Shaper, thanks for the follow.
I'm gonna go up to the barkeep and say, excuse me, do you have any parchment and a quill?
Oh, only thing I've got is I have a small book that I keep tallies in, but that's it.
Mind to spare a piece of parchment from your book?
Oh, well, I suppose so. You're going to help us, right?
Absolutely, sir.
Because otherwise, this parchment's probably foreseeably all I've got for a long time.
Hey, we're gonna help your town. I
He rips a
promise.
page out and hands it to you. And then he kind of, as an afterthought, puts the quill up on the table and gives it to you.
Okay, just scribbling it quickly down and bring it over.
Okay, you
There
don't
you
have
go.
to write it, but tell me in words, what are you saying?
Oh, frick.
What does it say?
If we
Don't forget
receive-
anything.
I know it's sucky. Once the three adventurers, whatever they are, Radovan, Risa, and Kiliana, retrieve the tale and show it to the mayor, we will then bring it to Zam something.
Zamil.
Deal.
Zamil.
You guys can't coach her, you're not there. If Kia screws it up, it's all on her. Just remember that.
Don't fuck it up,
For
Kia.
which, in order for him to have, he will research our mark on our hand and, to his best ability, remove all the magic he can from our marks. Each of us, all three of us. Anything else?
Is
I'll
there?
throw in there. If he fails to do so, we do not give him the scorpion tail of the beastie and can do with it what we will. If we die and never return, then he shall not show the marking to anybody.
It sounds like the dwarf contract from The Hobbit.
Right?
You want to put in there anything about funeral expenses and stuff.
He will pay. He will. Take care of my cat.
Okay. Right. He picks it up. Doesn't even read it. He just squiggles on it and hands it back to you.
Ooh.
All right. Thank you, sir.
He says, "Not a
I run away like this.
like you just pulled one over on him." Alrighty, so you're doing that. Let's go outside to Creek's Hollow. Okay, so this is Creek's Hollow. It's a very small, diminished place. So the building here, you guys know, is Wolfpaw's, the merchant's house.
Yeah, I've heard it.
And you can only assume that the huge big building at the end of the driveway or the road is the mayor's house. Okay, Racer, where do you want to go looking for provisions?
Well, I actually had intended on checking with the barkeep first.
Okay. He can provide you very basic food rations and stuff like that, enough for a week. But
and
little
I will
else.
obviously ask him if there's anywhere else in town or if he can help.
Okay, he says that there is no store in town. He's always taking care of providing all provisions and stuff, and he sells them to the villagers wholesale.
Perfect.
The only other person that you might inquire, if you are indeed going up into the mountains, is you might want to head west towards the creek to the blacksmiths. He may or may not have something that can help you. That would be this building here, the one with the bellowing smoke.
Okay. So you said we could get a
Donation
week's
time.
rations for 3?
Yeah. And he kind of gives it to you. I mean, he doesn't give it to you begrudgingly, but you can tell it's like very, like, thoughtfully, because it's like
this is the last of what we have.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point now where, I mean, if you think what you got for what they gave you for supper last night was a bowl of vegetable soup and a piece of bread, that was the best fare they had to offer. So
I'm gonna, knowing the situation, kind of like be a little nicer than I usually am and overly thank him. And I also would like to evaluate our torch situation. How many torches do we have left?
Probably not many at all.
Okay, so I would like to
be
pick up a
honest.
few torches for sure.
Okay, he doesn't have any.
Okay.
And I mean, the only thing he says, he has a lantern with 1 flask of oil that he is willing to loan you.
Yeah, I should probably take that.
Okay, so he'll lend you that. That's enough to give you 6 hours of light.
Perfect.
So you guys just have to be cautious of that. He says he doesn't have any other oil. You might check with the blacksmith.
Okay, so I'll take the 3 times a week's rations.
Right.
And the loner, lamp, and oil.
There you go.
And then head off to the
just
blacksmith.
bear in mind, those rations are very, very meager. It's like, you know, it's enough to sustain you, but it certainly isn't going to be much in the way of real food.
Fair enough. Understandably
Okay.
so.
He also gives you 1 of the bottles of the grain alcohol,
Oh, that was nice.
and says that you're probably going to need this if you're heading up into the mountains. He goes, it's bloody cold up there, especially this time of year. He said it'll at least help warm your innards.
Oh no, it's cold.
Thank you. Okay, lantern and oil on loan. Okay, how much do I owe him?
He kind of looks at you almost as an afterthought. He says, I almost hate to charge, to be honest, under the circumstances.
Well, then how about when I return, sir?
That'll be fine. If you return, then by all means we'll know that things are going to look up, and we'll worry about it then.
Thank you.
Well, good luck doesn't really seem to quite fit the bill, but good luck anyway, I suppose.
I'll just nod and head out the door.
Alrighty.
Time is of the essence.
And then you want to go to the blacksmith.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Raisa is going over here, and Radovan, I take it you're heading down the street.
Yep, I'm going to see the mayor.
As you stroll down, you see a few random people just kind of walking around, very basic-looking common folk. They all, like, stop and look at you with, like, big, bewildering eyes, almost intimidatingly.
I'm going to smile warmly and wave at them, showing that I'm a friendly guy.
Right. Once you get down to the mayor's house, you can see there's a couple of people that are actually carrying baskets from the nearby fields over here, with the last remaining it's disheveled, and some of it is even rotting, but it looks like it's the last of the apples from the apple orchard that they have. And Loman is standing. He's got like 1 foot on like a chopping block. He's got his bow over his back, and he's got his arrows on his sheath, and he's just kind of watching you approach.
As I approach, I'm going to say I'm here to see the mayor.
Okay, as you do that, Loman points at one of the guys carrying the basket and beckons him. And he just kind of nods and points at you. He says, can I help you at all?
I'm here to see the mayor.
Oh, I'll let his lordship know that you are wanting to see him, and he will meet you in the inn in about half an hour.
This is kind of pressing. I don't
understand, but his lordship has standing orders that nobody is to entertain or is to be entertained at the manor at his request.
Why, Linda?
Yeah, this is pertaining to your town survivals. My friends and I have agreed to, deal with the monster that's been attacking your guys at night.
That's wonderful. And if you hurry up and go to the inn, I'll tell him at once, and I'm sure he'll make as quick a haste as he can to get down there and talk to you.
What?
Loman is just kind of looking at you, like with a blank look.
Can
on his
I
face.
try to be diplomatic?
You can attempt diplomacy. Yep.
I'm gonna basically say, listen, this is crucial time that we're wasting for this nicety or simple request that he has, and your guard can strip me of my weapon if need be. I don't mean any harm. I don't mean to, be judgmental or anything.
Gotcha.
I very much need to see this guy sooner rather than later, because the faster we can get to that hillside, the faster we can kill the beastie, the
Right.
faster you guys can come to life, and even I might help with your crops if you have a water shortage or something. I am a priest of St. Cuthbert.
Okay, make your diplomacy check.
Cuthbert. I'm
Go
a
ahead
priest
and
of
make
St.
that
Cuthbert.
diplomacy.
All right.
I'm a priest of Saint Whiskey.
Right.
I mean,
Priest of St.
Whiskey.
All
Come on,
right.
natural 20.
Radovan's quite the diplomat.
Oh, yeah.
At 18,
Wow.
he says, I do understand. He said, and I realise that it would be a lot quicker if he would just come to the door, but I've worked for his lordship for at least nigh on 8 years, and at no point has he ever allowed anybody in the house. Other than Loman here.
I'm going to look at Loman and, basically say, really? What's
Loman
going
just
on
kind
here?
of looks at you and does,
You don't speak, sir, do you?
he says, honestly, if you are in a hurry, it would be far quicker if you just go to the tavern and I have him come right down there to meet you. Because this is just going to take... He goes, honestly, he said, he's not going to see you here no matter what I tell him.
I don't want to go. I really don't want to just be turned away. Okay, thank you.
He goes back to picking... Loman looks at him and nods, and he goes back to carrying his... They go back to carrying their baskets of fruit round back.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to the tavern.
Okay. As soon as you start walking away, Loman walks in through the door rather quickly and closes it. Okay, meanwhile, as Radovan
Weird.
marches back towards the tavern, Raisa has gone to the blacksmith. Okay.
All right,
I'm
so
going to put her over here by
what
the
do I
blacksmith.
see?
Ironically, a blacksmith's... no.
No.
Yeah. No, basically, once you get there, the smithy is... It's a very well-kept and sturdy-looking building, albeit somewhat plain. The door, it's kind of like an open kind of archway that goes straight into a big open area. It's not unlike any... The living quarters are above it. So you can walk straight in there. The smithy that seems to be working the smith is a skinny-looking fellow with arms that seem to be too big for his body. He's a balding man in probably his mid-40s. That being said, kind of glancing around, the normal things you see in a smithy are, metal thrown here, coal piled up here. This place is immaculate. It's almost like OCD immaculate. When you walk in there, he just kind of looks up at you, puts down the tongs that he was working on, kind of goes over to a small basin, washes his hands almost out of more as a politeness than anything else, because he doesn't really clean them very well. And then he walks over and says, "Callum Saltright, pleased to meet you," and offers you his kind of grimy hand. His hands are huge, by the way, considering the size of the man. His arms really don't seem... It's like he was a very slender person that has just done nothing but work with his hands and his arms for so long. He's grown muscles in that area, but little else. Benzine, thanks for the follow.
Do you even
All
lift,
right, well,
bro?
I'm going to obviously be taken aback by somebody actually being nice to me.
Right.
And kind of almost like...
Okay, so you begrudgingly
Ten.
shake his hand. He
like
says,
just not begrudgingly, but surprised.
Right,
like,
okay.
Just like,
right. He says, "What can I do for you then?
Um,
You got a horse
my
that needs shoeing, or
my friends and I have been enlisted by your mayor to help with your beastie problem, and
Mayor Pocket successfully did something wonderful."
Yeah. So I know your town is low on supplies, but we are looking to find anything that we can take with us or use to our advantage. So
Right, what can I help you with?
yeah, the man at the end told me I should come speak with you. My friends and I
Thanks for the
aren't
follow.
particularly dressed for the winter season, and I know you're not a tailor shop, but if you have any clothing or lamp oil or torches that we could potentially buy or borrow, and that would be helpful.
He says, I think I might still have a spare flask of lamp oil I can let you have. He said, whereabouts are you going?
We're headed towards the mountain, sir.
Oh, as in the mountains? Do you have climbing gear, rope, spikes?
No, I have, but not my friends.
Well, I've got some. I think I've got about a dozen or so climbing spikes still sitting around here. You can have them.
That would be so helpful.
Don't have a lot in the way of furs and stuff like that I can help you with. I do have I think I've got about 150 yards of rope that you can have too if you want.
It would be much helpful.
He says, all right, so rope. So you got 150 yards of rope, a dozen climbing spikes. He says, and I do have a grappling hook that I made for somebody that they never ever came back. I think it's sitting back here somewhere. Hang on. And he kind of goes back to a chest, opens it up, rummages through. You see him kind of moving horseshoes and tongs and stuff around. And he says, here it is. And he brings out a grappling hook and hands it to you. He said, that might come in handy.
Oh, wow. Thank you, sir.
He said, but if you want furs and stuff, he said, the person you need to talk to is actually not Loman, but talk to the mayor. Loman is somewhat of a master hunter, and he's killed many a beast and provided a lot of meat for the folk around here. In fact, that's all he's done the last few days, trying to keep us fed. But, he's been known to fell quite a few unpleasant creatures in the forest, of which had a lot of furs, and his lordship collects them.
You have been beyond helpful. Thank you.
Let me see. He said, well, I think 32 silver pieces should cover it.
Absolutely, sir.
All right.
And sorry, that was another. He gave us a thing of oil, right?
Yes, you got one more flask of oil, a dozen climbing spikes, and 150 of good rope.
And the grappling hook.
And the grappling hook, yeah.
And as before I turn to leave, kind of as an afterthought, I'm just going to look to him and say, do you know anything about the mountains for people who are not really familiar with them?
I honestly don't. I can tell you that, they're not easy to navigate. I'm sure of that. And I know that it gets very cold. And as you can see, if you look in the distance, there's snow-capped. So I know it's bloody cold up there. But other than that, I've never been there, to be honest. No reason to.
And do you know of anybody, maybe other than Loman, that would know more about them?
Not here. We're a simple hamlet. We don't really venture much. In fact, Loman's probably the only one that goes anywhere into the town. Other than that, we truck down to Scarrow every great once in a while for the festival. He said, beyond that, he said, of course, none of us dare do that with this problem going on.
Well, thank you, sir. You have been most helpful, and I hope to see you soon.
Alrighty. Okay, so where does Racer want to go after that?
After hearing what she heard, she wants to talk to Radovan before he gets to the mayor. So she's going to run in the general direction that Radovan was in.
All right. Well, by the time you get up there, Radovan is in the process of talking to Loman and the apple cart, or the apple carrying folk.
Oh, please don't jump and surprise me.
So the conversation is pretty much already being had.
With Loman, though, right?
With Loman, yeah. So
he hasn't talked to the mayor yet.
Loman, as you get there, basically, Loman is walking back in the house, and Radovan's turning to walk back down the road.
Perfect. So I kind of run up. Radovan!
Oh, hey.
I got arms full of stuff, I'm sure, hanging everywhere,
she's
rope
got,
around.
Whoa.
Huge big things of rope over her shoulder weighing her down.
breathe, Razor, breathe. What's going on?
Have you talked to the mayor yet?
No, he's a fucking dick. He wouldn't even let me in his place to talk.
I talked to the blacksmith. I have some information that it's gonna be good. Okay.
And you guys are walking back to the inn as you have this conversation, right?
Yeah.
Can you carry some?
We're stopping. Okay.
Okay. So you offload some of the rope and everything to take the burden off of the teeny tiny half elf. Okay.
my climbing ability will be a little bit better now. This sarcastically. Right. What's the problem?
Oh.
Breathe.
All right. Well, I talked to the blacksmith, and I asked about getting some furs because we're gonna freeze. I talked to the innkeeper who told me to see the blacksmith, and then the blacksmith told me that. Anyways, Loman is apparently a really good hunter, and he has acquired quite a bit of furs. So he suggested that we speak to the mayor about maybe getting some furs to keep us warm. But he mentioned that Loman might know a little bit about the surrounding area, you know, kind of like a little bit of a guide. I'm thinking maybe in our negotiations, we should try and see if we can get some help.
Okay, I mean...
Definitely furs. I'm gonna freeze. Kia's gonna freeze.
All I know is that a mayor who seems to care about this place but doesn't let people into his estate, I'm not a fan of. Especially for a straight talker. It's clear they know more than they're letting on about what this thing is, especially if Loman is a master hunter. That seems very weird to me.
Well, I could go check out his place.
I'm pretty sure that's against the law, Raisa.
Not if he doesn't see me.
Well, yeah, you can't... Have you learned nothing? Maybe you should really read my journal. Like, I think that's a very pertinent thing for you to do.
I'm just looking. I'm not stealing anything.
You're breaking and entering.
Who said I was going to go inside? There's windows.
You do.
You have friends with invisibility spells.
I do.
Okay, well, you guys are heading back to the inn. So, Kia, they basically get back to the inn. I know you're sitting there patiently waiting on them.
Like this, yes.
So in comes Radovan and Eraser. And this guy is now over at the table.